Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to episode number 21.
21?
20 is holding up the drink.
Well, you went like this, 22.
21 of the Courage Pays Better Than Fear podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremy Ritz, alongside
Special Eddie.
And we are so excited to be back to you. We've been off the grid for quite a minute, and we're broadcasting live from the treehouse.
Yeah, so it's a treehouse in the making. This is actually a 2-level treehouse. It's not even a treehouse. Like, this is an actual house. Like, above me is, what would you say that is? Like 20 feet off the ground?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's like 20 feet off the ground. The kids are gonna have like so much fun up there.
And if I'm ever in the doghouse, I can actually be in the treehouse.
Well, it's kind of why we're out here today.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, what are you getting, a deck put on?
Yeah, we're getting a balcony put on off of the bedroom.
Okay.
Nice little treat for the wife. So we are out here recording, coming live to you. So much to talk about. This is part one of a 2-part series here, episode 21 and 22. We're shooting 2 episodes today. But this episode is all about abundance in your life, and fittingly so because we recently attended the abundance workshop in the British Virgin Islands with Brittany Turner, Jeremy Locke, Jeremy Newsom, Paulie Kifnowski, was it?
I forget his last name.
Yeah. And
good
man,
people. Yeah,
it was just amazing. We have so much to share with all of you, so we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, it's the Furious 3 on a Friday. A lot of F's. So
hopefully a lot of F's on a Friday.
Yeah. So I'll go first.
You go
I'll
first.
Ask.
All right, you ask me. Go ahead.
What did you miss most on the island, other than your wife and children?
So being away, what did I miss most being away? No beer.
There was no beer on the island. That's a true story.
We were drinking mocktails, but they were very refreshing.
They're so good.
It was it was a good break. It was, like we did dry January before. I mean, it wasn't no big deal. It was 5 days, no big deal.
Yeah,
right, back at it.
Yeah.
The airport got a good show though.
Yeah, it did. It did. That's another episode. That's the Courage Pays Better Than Fear Unfiltered. If you want to sign up for that, that's like you got to pay a special fee for that one because that's uncensored. Mm-hmm. So, question number 2: craziest thing. We're in a treehouse. Craziest thing you ever did in a treehouse?
Fall out of one.
Fell out of one?
Yeah, I fell out of one for sure. Screwing around, trying to walk on the top plank, being a clown as usual, and fell and almost broke my legs. But I mean, that was the craziest thing that ever happened to me. Well, there was that one time. Just kidding.
That one time at band camp.
Yeah, one time at band camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't spend much time in like tree houses or anything. My one buddy had one, and I climbed up it at a young age and fell out of it, and that was pretty much it. I kind of stayed out of tree houses after that.
Nice.
But
and then the last one, what have you missed most about not recording the Courage Pays Better Than Fear podcast these last couple of weeks? Because we've been gone for a minute.
What have I not missed?
No, what have you missed about the podcast?
I mean, just being able to, share our stories and talk to people and kind of let people know like what's going on. Believe it or not, we get a lot of people that like to hear our stories and, give us a lot of good feedback and, just tell us how they may have had a crappy Friday and just a few words of something that we talked about has, brightened their day. And that's really what it's all about, is just giving back, helping people. And, we're all human beings. We all have, things going on in life. And if you just keep it real, it resonates with people.
Yeah. So that's the Furious 3. So next episode, you got me. Real fast, I just want to point out, I've got my Replace Your Employer shirt on. I'm giving you some love. Repping RLT for Jeremy Newsom. I really like your Replace Your Dollar shirt. That's great. That's a great Replace Your Dollar shirt.
Well, you're knocking that I don't have the real life trading shirt. I don't need a real life trading shirt.
No, not really. I'm saying replace your dollar.
I don't need to replace. You want me to replace my dollar? I'm gonna replace my dollar right here with my credit card. With
okay, so he just
limit.
replaced. There we go. There we go.
I replaced my dollar.
All right, you can pay for this treehouse when we're done here. All right, so we like I said, we've been gone for a little while, but we were super looking forward to the Abundance Retreat that was in the British Virgin Islands. It was all about opening your mind and your heart to a purpose greater than yourself with your financial abundance. And we learned so much from Brittany, from the Jeremys, from Paulie, and just everybody who was there, the attendees. And what we're just going to talk about some takeaways we had. But when you see people like Brittany Turner and Jeremy Locke, who, Jeremy retired Green Beret, Brittany Turner, just a super successful real estate entrepreneur.
Her story was awesome, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
go ahead.
The private island, so she owns this private island in the British Virgin Islands. And she basically turned this island into like a recovery center for not just anybody, but for like our veterans, right? Our veterans that are struggling with maybe suicide or, other struggles in life, maybe drinking. And she just turned it into she had this amazing vision where she turned it into a recovery center to just help people across the world. And I think her main goal is to have multiple of these.
Yes.
Right? It's across the world, right?
Yep.
But her story, this thing was destroyed by first of all, it was destroyed when she found the island and the house on it. And then secondly, it was destroyed by 2 hurricanes. Not one, but two. 2 hurricanes back to back. Was it Anna Maria? I forget what hurricane.
I forget the names.
But
I think one was Edmund.
Yeah, no. That island would have been done if it was Hurricane Edmund. No coming back from that one.
Well, good thing there wasn't any beer there, because it probably would have been done.
Yeah, no. So with that being said, she was knocked down 2 times hard on, developing this island to how she envisioned it. And she didn't quit. She didn't quit. Her purpose was much bigger. Her vision was much bigger than, what that hurricane was, or both of those hurricanes were. So she got back up on her feet. She absolutely crushed it. And now it's a place that's helping people beyond.
It's a force for good.
It's a force for good. It really is.
Yeah. And what I was speaking to is, it's one thing to have financial abundance for your family, for your friends, so you could do things like have a treehouse or buy a house for, a parent, family member, or just do things to help your family and friends. But what Brittany and Jeremy showed us is there's a whole nother level to this. And what they're doing with their island, working with veterans, Brittany's primary goal and Jeremy Locke's primary goal is to end child sex trafficking. So what they do, they're volunteering their time. They're doing this. They're not paid for this. They're taking veterans who maybe don't have a purpose or are trying to find their way. They're taking their skills that they have, their military skills. They're training them. And then these groups that are led by Jeremy and Brittany, they're going into other countries to fight child sex trafficking rings.
Yeah.
And this is massive work. And really the biggest takeaway from this was use your financial abundance for good in the world. And not just good, greatness in the world. And I know we had this conversation, we just kept talking about takeaways, but you see people like Brittany, like the Jeremys, like Paulie, and what they're doing, it really causes you to reflect on yourself and say, man, I need to level up. I'm not even scratching the surface of what's possible.
No. And, just watching, people complain about rich people all the time, right? We were definitely with some rich people. I mean, wealthy people.
Yeah.
I'm talking
billionaires,
centimillionaires, decamillionaires.
I was probably the poorest one there. But I'm going to get there.
Yeah, right? You're going to get there. You've only been at this not even a year yet.
Yep.
But, people want to complain about all rich people do is, skimp out on their taxes and this and that. And they're just, they got money, they're evil. That's not the case, bro. Almost every wealthy person I've ran into so far have just been amazing people willing to help and willing to share, how they got wealthy, right? So, for all those people that sit back that hate and, you know, just have those limiting beliefs in your mind, like, you know, I'm never going to get there. Keep thinking that, because that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Either change your mindset, change those limiting beliefs, and that's something we'll talk about here today. Or, you know what, just go find something else to do. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you know, the people that I've met are a force for good.
Yeah.
And are really, really, really cool people.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the other part of it too. We've talked about your network is your net worth.
yeah.
I mean, that's factual. So we're on the island with these entrepreneurs, these forces for greatness, these people who are financially free, abundant, doing great things with their money. We're learning from them and, you know, taking these little lessons from them, and like that rubs off.
Absolutely.
Right? And we
does.
want to continue to surround ourselves with people like that, because that's going to elevate us to the point where we have the financial abundance to go and then do things to help the world, to help our communities, to help society. And that's really, like, how many people think about that? You got to look beyond just, okay, helping my family and friends out. Obviously, that's first and foremost, but there are people out there who need help, who are struggling. And, you know, one of the things that we talked about, how many people were in situations like ours where you're in a W-2 job, you're miserable, you're not happy, you know you're not living the life that you could be. You know, we talked about one of the things that we want to do is try to help those people, connect with those people, and show kids in school how to do real estate, how to trade, things that aren't taught. We need to teach these things. So, you know, we've been spending a lot of time talking about what our bigger purpose could be and how we can use our financial abundance to impact.
And isn't it interesting how we went on this trip and then we talked about on the airplane, like, what do we want to do? And we were mentioning, like, we want to help kids. Like, we want to help kids understand, like, there is a financial freedom pathway out there for them at an early age, right? Schools don't teach this. I'm telling you now, schools don't teach us.
Nope.
And then when I got back and we kind of settled in, I get a phone call from a good friend of mine who was also the state representative of Delaware. And I'll leave his name out of this for right now, but he's like, I want to learn more and I want to get you guys in front of the audiences of the schools, right? So, you know, was that a coincidence? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't believe in coincidences anymore.
Yeah.
But, you know, you start speaking these things out into the world and they start to happen, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy the way that works.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I was telling Edmund this yesterday after we left the gym that I'm going back to abundance next year because I'm committed to the growth, and I want to see that growth from when I was there till next year, because, you know, I was a fish out of water because
Sure
I've never
were.
been, you know, around people of this caliber before, and it really forced me to level up. And I'm looking forward to just taking everything I've learned and just leveling up and then sharing and pouring everything that I've learned into other people. And you mentioned the limiting beliefs piece, and we're going to talk about this. And
That was my favorite. I think that was my favorite thing that happened.
And Jay Money, Jay Newsom, yo, you're coming on episode 23, right? We're putting it out there.
He's gonna come on and be like, bro.
Bro. Here's what I'll tell you about Jeremy Newsom.
He is exactly.
He's
exactly like you see on camera.
He's Jeremy 24/7.
Yeah.
5 a.m. getting up, going for runs. So little side story.
Oh yeah. Good.
So he would send a message out. I'd be like, all right, all my savages coming out to meet me for a run. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm good. Like I'm not afraid of any of that. So we go out there, we're
slept
running.
in.
Yeah, he slept in. So we're running, Jeremy and I, and he's like, all right, bro. He's like, we're gonna do some man carries. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, hop on my back. Mind you, he's got his shirt off and he's one hairy dude. So I was a little uncomfortable. He's like, man, this is good male bonding. I'm like, sure, whatever you say, bro.
Whatever you say, but
Whatever you say.
don't try to jump on my back when we get back here.
So I hop on his back. We go up this big steep hill. We come back down. He's like, all right, now it's your turn. He hops on my back. Up we go, come back down.
So you guys are like climbing up these
steep hills. We're talking super steep
And I
grades.
know how winded I was just walking up those things.
Yeah. So we do one, and I'm like, all right, yeah, that was good, cool. Let's resume our run. He's like, all right, here's the next one. Boom, he hops on my back. Or no, I hop on his back. We go up, come back down. I go. I'm like, all right, cool. We did two. We're gonna continue our run. He's like, all right, bro. Now here's this one. It's like this, straight up.
No.
We go, and Intensity, super intense. We do that one. I'm like, damn, how many more are we going to go? Because here's the thing, I'm not going to quit. Like, we would probably die out there before one of us gives up. So we do one last one, finish up. But that's just the kind of stuff. That's what these people do who are pushing to another level.
They force themselves to do extremely difficult things. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know who says it. Do hard shit every day.
Yeah.
Who? It's one of your boys.
Do shit that's difficult every day.
Yeah,
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. Yep. Do shit that's difficult every day.
So I did take a shower immediately after that because I had like all this, I had the noose and funk and sweatiness on me.
I figured you bottled that up and kept it with you and put it in your pocket.
Man, I might get Jeremy like a little trimmer.
Yeah.
You know, trim that up.
Jeremy's gonna be like, nope, I am who I am.
That's right. And that's why we love him. Anyway, more importantly, this session that he led on limiting beliefs and how we let the way we've been conditioned by society just hold us back from doing the things that we want. We did this exercise where, and really it's connected to work of Tony Robbins, but what are those things that we believe about ourselves that hold us back from really achieving our true potential? And what we did is we went through an exercise where we took those limiting beliefs and re-languaged them to turn those into empowering beliefs. And that was something that was...
Yeah, that was powerful. The one that I really liked, so this is something that was shocking, okay? So most people think of multimillionaires, decamillionaires, centimillionaires, billionaires, right? They think that, you know, these people are like special, right? Like they're some special breed, like they have a different mind. They think differently. They are people just like us. And here's how I know why. So we had this exercise where we wrote down the three negative things that voice in our mind is always talking to us about. You know, and I know we all have that voice in our mind that we talk to, right? And it's always negative. It's always something negative, right? It's always coming out and saying, you're not good enough. You're not pretty enough, right? You don't deserve this. You don't deserve that person. You're not smart enough, right? And those were the thoughts that we had to jot down. So I jotted down my three. Everybody in the room jotted down theirs. We went down and we switched them all up and then we read them out loud. And what was shocking to me was some of these people who were, you know, like I said, super wealthy, have the same limiting beliefs, those same negative voices that we all have.
Yeah.
Right? We all have.
Some even harsher.
Yeah. I mean, like I thought mine were bad. Like some people's where I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like that's crazy, right? And that was mind blowing. That was deep for me.
The beautiful thing about it is just the vulnerability. Yeah. Like in this group where we're just opening up and saying, hey, I'm an imperfect human being, but that's not going to hold me back. And seeing these people who you look at on this level who are doing things like fighting child sex trafficking, like I said, financial abundance, like crazy business owners, they have the same insecurities that you have, that I have, that Edmund has. We're all human beings. Because you have those negative voices, that doesn't dictate the direction and course of your life.
That's not who you are.
That's not who you are.
No, and that's what we learned. Like, that's just like a mechanism that has kept us safe over the thousands of years that humans have been in existence, right? We're pre-programmed that way, right? Why do you think the news always reports negative stuff? Because it knows that our mind is always looking for the negative. They don't ever want to report anything positive, right? Because human beings are not naturally interested in what's positive out there. And what I learned is what you have to do with those thoughts is accept them. Right? They are. That's all they are, is you accept them as a thought, you filter out and get it out of your mind and replace it with something positive.
Yep.
It is something that takes work. I'm still struggling with it, but I can tell you it's been extremely helpful over these last 2 weeks. I've used it a couple times because there's things that come up like, oh, you're not going to do anything when you come back from this abundance trip. You know, talk crap all the time. You say you're going to do this, you say you're going to do that, and you don't do it, right? Like, that's one of the thoughts that I immediately had when I got back. Yeah. And then, so what did I have to do? I had to go create my vision board, do all the things that they told me to do, right? And then just get after it. Do the things that I don't want to do. Yep. These are not things that I want to do. These are things that I'm doing because you got to be disciplined.
100%.
That's it.
100%. Life-changing stuff. We're going to include links to learn more about aerial recovery, Buck Island, that's the island we were on, about Brittany, Jeremy Locke, the abundance trip. So if this is something that you want to explore for next year and go, we might be there, so we can hang out. But life-changing stuff, check that out. Let's wrap up this episode. Biggest takeaway, the most impactful lesson that you left abundance with?
Honestly, was what I just talked about. Knowing that the elite their minds think very similar to how your average middle-class American thinks, and that we have to just change our belief system, our limiting beliefs, into empowering beliefs, and get after it.
And mine kind of goes along with what you're saying, and it's like I always have believed that any and everything is possible, and I tell my kids that all the time. I know you tell your kids the same thing. But being around people who believe that same thing and seeing how that has manifested in your life, not just through financial abundance, but through all these other beautiful things they've created, it just gave me this drive and hope and inspiration and motivation to just get after it at another freaking level that I've just not even touched. So I almost dropped an F-bomb and I did. Let's go. Let's go. So that is it. That's the conclusion. Episode 2-1 is in the books. We're going back to back here, so we have 2 episodes. Stay tuned to see what the next topic is. If you haven't done so, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Leave us some comments. Share with your family and friends. Part of our mission is to grow our business. Courage Pays Better Than Fear, our brand. And we talked about how we want to help people change and get out of that rut, the rat race, the W-2 world, to see what's available to you. That's our vision, our focus for Courage Pays Better Than Fear, and to bring positivity into a world that's just focused on the darkness all the time.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we obviously, I'm in charge of Replace Your Employer. He's in charge of Replace Your Dollar.
Oh, look, I just happen to have your shirt on.
Well, I told you, I got mine's in your pocket, in my pocket.
Yeah, I got something in my pocket.
So these are the things, these are the tools and mechanisms that we used to, get to where we are, okay? Did we have to invest in ourselves to be able to do it? Absolutely. We're here. You want to learn more about it. The vast majority of our content is free.
Hey, let me just hit pause real fast.
What?
It's 10:51 a.m. on a Friday. What would we be doing if we weren't doing?
I'd be in lunch duty right now.
So would I. We're chilling on the damn treehouse, recording a podcast.
Helping
you can have this. You could be right here. I'm telling you, this is a real thing.
Sorry,
I didn't mean to cut you
it's
off.
good. It's good. But exactly. So you want to learn more about how to be in the treehouse at 10:51 on a Friday?
Replace your employer.
Recording, helping people. Replace your employer. Replace your dollar.
Replace your dollar. If you want to learn how to trade the markets profitably, consistently, successfully, let me help you do that. We are just growing, expanding as the Replace Your Dollar community. We have more coaches that are coming on board, clients who are profitable, being successful, they're coming on board. So lots of great stuff coming from Replace Your Dollar. Shout out to all the clients out there. And yeah, man, life is good.
Life is good.
We are some blessed, lucky dudes.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, what do you want them to do? Your little smash?
Smash the subscribe button. Share this with your friends and family. Right? The more subscribers we have, we greatly appreciate it. We are just trying to get the word out there to let people know, like, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Let's get after it.
Absolutely. That's the end of episode 21. We will see you back again here shortly for episode 22. Peace, everyone.